I just had to make sure it worked. Before I start talking, I would like to acknowledge every single person in this bar listening to this right now and just let you know that I love you. Thank you. Well, this talk is actually about love, and I feel like there's a little bit of a lack of love going on, so love blast. All right, so that's kind of weird, I know, but it's whatever. So these are the co-founders of the Lovolution, and that's an organization that I'm one of the co-founders of. It is built around unconditional love. We have spent 2 years researching unconditional love, and we've been very inquisitive in nature, and we have found that pretty much the consensus is everyone would like to learn how to experience more love in their lives. There's not as much noise, but no, it's really, it's pretty remarkable. I have a couple quotes I want to share from some people from the Lovolution. Real love is simply accepting another person completely and unconditionally. Another quote, love is a constantly adapting principle of all life that allows for connection, progress, growth through whatever means necessary. Unconditional love is an unlimited way of being. Love is a self-defined feeling, experience, perspective, and perception. I have 3 easy definitions of love. I like to call them the philosophical threesome of love, which is eros, which is passionate love, philia, which is the love of people, and agape, which is the transcendent universal love of all. That's a quick reference for love. You can look those up for yourself. Eros, philia, and agape, very important. They're talked about in philosophy. Honestly, I would say you should look them up because I have to start talking about the printing press and media. And I'm going to be talking about, next, what is media? This presentation is what is love media and love media. Well, media is, put simply, communication. With the invention of text, we became hearers of the law. We heard the rules and we agreed to live by them. Scribes were allowed to rewrite the law, but they weren't allowed to add to it. Imagine that. The printing press was actually an elite of writers and a civilization of readers. That was when the printing press was invented. Now, basically mass media has emerged, and essentially mass media is here to simulate the experience of another person. So all these companies that are here, that are running the show, are basically here to communicate their product or service. The media has actually become sort of a precursor to selling. For example, you may have heard of the swine flu that just happened recently, but you may also be interested to know that it also happened in the 70s, and there was also, a lot of news reports about it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that perhaps media is a little more malleable than we've initially thought. We basically stay one step behind the capability that this technology offers us. For example, we don't all have our own television stations. We're not all having Fox News, but there's something really interesting that's starting to happen. We are no longer sticking to these. We're basically, I think, catching up with the technology. I think we're actually learning to perhaps stay a step ahead of the technology instead of a step behind, which is, in a way, what has been said as a tactic of the media elite. Now, the media landscape has been changing quite a bit. Social media has been a big part of it. The definition of media, as I said in the beginning, is communication. So in a way, I actually believe that all these things that I'm talking about that you just saw on those last slides are actually what real media on some level is, in the sense that media is communication. That's actually what real media is. What has been happening before has been broadcasting to us. That hasn't been, I guess it's been communication, but it hasn't been, it's been missing something. And I think that thing has been love. So I'd like to tie these two themes together, which is that with love media, it is tying in your voice and your expression. With the Loveolution, we have brought people together who have a philosophy of love. Now, some of you may have heard of 2012. You may have heard of giant floods, tsunamis, earthquakes. The thing is that, you know, it's not really very easy to work through a lot of this data if we don't have love in our hearts. There's a lot of weird stuff that's out there. There's a lot of weird stuff that's being promoted. I personally, myself, have dabbled in the New Age. I considered myself New Age at one time, and I found that love allowed me to have clarity on what was real and what was true. So if you love the truth, you will learn the truth of love. That's what I find. Now, I think that love media is designed to enhance a more global view of the world and perhaps an even more universal view of the world. Really, at the Loveolution, we're about you having your own voice. We're about you expressing yourself in whatever way you feel is appropriate. This doesn't mean that it's always happy bunnies, unicorns running around. Sometimes life is fucking bullshit. Like when people are perhaps not helping you in what you're doing. The thing is, though, is that in the end, you actually do have to love people and you have to live that message. So no matter what happens around you, I think that we have to express the message of love. And really, this is just a metaphor of how much we have to say, I love you! I love every single person in this bar. I don't care if you don't like who I am. I don't care if you don't like what I say. I still unconditionally love you because it's your right to say, this is really annoying. I just want to have a good night tonight. I just want to have drinks. I don't want to have to hear this stupid seminar in front of me. But you know what? That's okay because it's your right and I unconditionally love you.